Good morning. We are looking forward to going on a camping trip in a couple days. Catherine and I are getting ready. Today's Memorial Day morning, and we are going to de-winterize our camper. I've done this one other time, and I've looked at the east to west instructions, which are sort of vague, and I did some research on my own and come up with my own set of instructions. So I want to try it today using my set of instructions. So I will be following my own. And the first thing we're going to do is head inside and open up the low point drain valves and get rid of anything that's laying low in the system. The low point drain valves in our camper are located underneath the stove and oven behind where this drawer goes. So I'm going to take a minute and pop that drawer out so we can look inside and open up those valves. Just a quick side note on these drawers. When you go to remove them, they do have these little clips on the side, and what you have to do to pull them out is you have to lift up on the clips, and you can see it kind of releases that little catch right there, and then the drawer will pull out. I've got my little Ryobi light in here to kind of shed some light on where the valves are. I'm going to go into the drawer. You can see I'm kind of holding down the ductwork a little bit, and back there are the two valves. You see they're perpendicular to the line of flow, so what I'm going to do is just open them up. Then I'm going to run outside and see what comes out and how much comes out. Okay, I'm not going along this side of my camper much today because we had a lot of rain. You can see there's some water in the grass over there. But I will show you, I'm on the right side, the passenger side. And down here are where the low point drains are. You can see the red and the blue. Unlike a lot of campers, the valves, as I just shown, are on the inside. But I don't really see anything coming out. And actually, I did go ahead and relieve pressure on the valves in the bathroom faucet just in case it was trapping like a back pressure, but it doesn't seem to be leaking anything out. So I guess we're okay here, and perhaps I'll have to reconsider this in my instructions. Back inside again, gonna go in there, put those valves back to the appropriate position, perpendicular to the line of flow, and shut this drawer back up. The drawer is all shut, the valves are closed. There's my knee pad. I have to use that pretty much everywhere. My knees are not happy if I sit right on the floor, and we're gonna put our Ryobi light back up in my little Ryobi collection above the door where we keep our inflator, our charger, and our light with one battery. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up my garden hose to the city water connection. So we're going to plug that in right now. Just pop that open, and then this guy here spins onto here. Make sure I do the reverse righty-tighty, lefty-loosey and get this thing hooked up right till it's nice and snug. There we go. Just a quick note, we're starting out our second full year of camping with 6,488 miles on this guy. All right, well, we're inside. The water pressure is turned on to the hose outside at the spigot, and we'll start over here with the bathroom, and we're going to run each of these, and the pink should come out. And we're going to run them until we don't see pink anymore. So that's our hot one there, and our tank, of course, is bypassed right now. It looks like we're getting some pretty clear water there, and I'm going to kick on cold now, and we should see the pink all over again. I'm gonna run that guy. I'm gonna run them a little longer than I did last year, because last year I ran them till they were clear, and it seemed like the first time out camping we just had a little bit of residual pink. So I'm gonna go a little longer than perhaps I did last year, but not a lot. The place that's a little bit taboo in videos perhaps, but the toilet bowl, we gotta do this one too, so here we go. Just a pink flush down the toilet drain. And looks like it's running pretty clean. Actually, the drain of that seal, we left water in there a little bit, but it didn't seem like it held over the winter, so the level did go down. So it looks a little messy in the drain, but it's still coming out fairly clear now. That's what we want to see. So for now, I'll call that one good. Here's the shower. We just talked about putting a new head on it here at the end of last year, and we did that, and it's still coming out pink thus far, but we're gonna let this go a sec Try to maybe run it a little harder. Of course, I'm sitting on a hill right now, so it ain't perfectly level, so this is not going to work the way I want it to. Alrighty, just fair warning, if you're sitting on a bit of a grade, this is what's going to happen. You get a little bit of the antifreeze pinky water sitting in your shower base, and we're going to try to squeegee that out. I'm not going to sit here and show you everything, but I did go and grab a squeegee, and I'm going to try to get this out of there before I move on to the next sink. Well, it did take quite a few squeegee swipes to get that out of there, but it's all nice and clean again, so we're good to go on this one. We'll head over to the kitchen sink to finish up. Well, here's the last one, our kitchen sink. So let's try this one now, see how we're doing with the pink stuff coming out. There's the residual antifreeze coming out. Go all the way to the hot side. We will wait for it. And run clear for a little span of time here. And we'll go to the cold side. And do the same. Looking pretty good. All the drains have been cleaned out now, so there's no more antifreeze residue. Now we're going to run out, turn off the city water, disconnect it from the camper, and get ready for the next step. Again, you got to remember which way backwards, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is. Plus, I turned the water off, so there's a little built-up pressure in the line. And I'm going to get a little wet. And not too bad. All right, well, now that we've done all that stuff on the inside, we're going to plug the drain for the hot water heater and make sure that this pressure relief valve is closed. And one of the things that's really important to do is make sure your anode rod, if you have one, is still sufficient size for your season. And I saw someone else who said basically compare it to the wire in the middle. How much do you have left? And we know we've had this for a season and a half, let's say, and we still have a pretty good amount. So I'm going to put it in for now. We might buy another one and check it during the season, but for now we're going to put this guy in here. So it just goes in here. You got to make sure once you get it up there that you get your tapered pipe threads engaged properly. Don't cross thread. And then, excuse me, then I've got this guy here that I can make sure I've got it in nice and snug. There we go, all done. And this is off, so we'll close that up in a little bit, but that's the end of that part. All right, well, now we're ready to set the water tank valves for the season. And of course, to get to that in our Entrada, you have to move the slide out. So while we were outside, we made sure that our slide won't hit anything. My truck is far enough in front of it, we're not gonna hit that. And this is the issue we had when we first got this thing. We couldn't figure out how to get it to work so the slide would come out. And the best way I know, and this may not be the only way, but the way we do it is you have the emergency brake on, which it is already, put it in the auxiliary position, then when you hit the button up there, it will slide out. So I'm gonna just put this over here, and Catherine's gonna go back and slide the slide out for us. Now what we're going to do is take the hot water heater and take it from the winter bypass position back to the position where we'll have it for the summer camping season.
And that's located here, hey?
Yeah, and so what we have to do is there's 4 screws for this panel. And
we should put this panel on a hinge.
Yeah, when you start undoing those screws several times, honestly, it doesn't feel like they're bearing into anything hardly.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a cool project, is to put that on a hinge, make a door here. I wonder if it would work.
I don't know.
Yeah. Has anyone done it? Let us know.
Yeah, if you have, tell us in the comments. All right, so here we are, and we're inside. And right now, what we need to do to make this thing work for the summer is there's only 2 valves on this one. There are some versions that have more, but this one has 2. All you do for the summer season is run both of these valves perpendicular to the flow lines, and that basically diverts into the tank and lets the water go into the tank, and the tank does its thing. So that's all you have to do. Just do that and put the panel back on. All right, well, we got the slide out. And we got this mattress and the mattress pad up like this. Now on this, when you need to get to the water tank, what you have to do is you have to take this hinged plywood panel here and pull it up. And I'm going to get out of the way of it when I'm doing it. And it goes to about there. And then we have to unscrew this cover here to be able to get to the tank. So we'll do that in a minute. Yeah, these screws, the way they put these in here, don't really bear into much of anything well. They tried to scrimp so much on everything.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
See where that screw goes? Nowhere. See where the
you
screw...
might as well just not even have a
see
cover.
Where the screw on the other end is? Barely bearing.
Wow, might should put another piece of wood in there.
See where the screws are here?
Oh my gosh.
Here and here. And they've got the screws on this panel just inappropriately aimed. So what I really need to do is re-drill this panel.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, so perhaps when we're done, we'll re-drill the panel a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically, this is my cheat sheet I made for this year to try. So all the stuff I'm doing is on here. And you can see down here at the bottom, it shows the way the valves are supposed to be for the summer season. So all I'm going to do right now is set the valves the way they're on this picture. Catherine will take a better close-up of this in a little bit. Well, now that we got this far, we're going to take a look at these valves and adjust them so that they're all set for our summer camping season. There's 3 of them, and we'll start with the topmost one here that I can kind of move a little bit. This here is the siphon line, and the only time we use this is for drawing antifreeze in for the winter season. So this guy here stays set perpendicular to the line of flow, so it's basically forming a cross with the line of flow. This one down here is actually what runs to the drain under the camper. So we don't want to drain the water. I've done this before too by mistake, but we don't want to drain the water out. So we want this one here set perpendicular so it's blocking flow. And the farthest one over yonder over here, which kind of runs to the pump if you could see everything working back here, that one is in line with the flow. So this guy over here is in line. These 2 are perpendicular. Close to the metal and in like this a little. There you go. All right.
Nice. We'll fix this while we have this going here.
And like that. Gee, that actually bears down on something. And there's nothing rubbing at this, so we don't have to be below flush or anything.
Right. I mean, the screw was going into air before I could say it was. It's too
pretty
funny.
Much, yeah. And they, they just, okay, it's good. Let's walk away.
So anyhow, we are going to fix this. And then we also, while we were doing this, we noticed that this is not countersinked like this one. So every time we move the slide out in and out, it's rubbing on the wood that's sitting on here that holds our mattress. So I'll show you that on the other side over here. It's rubbing along. Before you know it, we won't have any plywood left. That one's pretty deep right here. This is not as bad,
well,
but
that's also taking the load of us sleeping on it.
Yeah. Well, not when we slide it in and out, though, luckily.
That's the wrong hole. Duh. Okay, let's use the bad spot, people. All right, let's try it again. Here we go. There. I think that's the right one this time.
Well, at least it won't rattle around. Maybe that's another thing that was rattling in here when we're going down the road.
Who knows? There could be. All right, so that's that. To get this thing to turn.
Good.
Because we can't leave, regardless of what we do, we can't leave it like that. Because all it's going to do
keep rubbing
that thing and dig that gouge more deeply. And you can look at that, and the next guy over has got a countersunk hole, like Catherine said. This one has, like, nothing.
Right.
Like, if you were doing this in a machine shop, maybe the tap drill diameter, nothing else. we probably don't even want it in the same hole, do we? Because it's gonna.
I don't know. Yeah, you can put it over a side. Why not?
Yeah, I'll move it over here. So we're gonna just move it over about 3/4 of an inch, maybe.
We're using a, what's that drill bit you call?
It's a countersink bit.
Okay. There we go.
There, now we got a nice countersink in there for the head of that screw. So it should bury itself okay.
Okay, so here's the boring 3 times the charm screw going in.
Yeah, we'll see this time.
Oh, it seems to be grabbing, which is good. Is it better? I can't see from here. I can zoom in, people.
Ouch! Oops. It's still got a little bit of a catch to it. I'm wondering, these were probably done with some kind of a counterbore, and all I've got is a countersink, which is a taper, and I don't want to beat this thing up too much.
Right. Maybe we should leave the screw out for now, or maybe we could find a flathead screw. Why don't you see if you got a flathead screw?
I've got a flat screw in the garage.
Take that one with you.
I'll replace it with.
Okay, here we go. So here you can see a little up close while Steve's getting another screw. That's how much far off they were, and these screws were on an angle, and they just weren't even touching that wood. It was just like a couple teeth kind of, but it was going off on all of them. So I don't know, something to look at when you're uncovering things in here. And then also this thing, be careful not to reef on this, because we're really careful with stuff, but it's still, I'm trying to make it so you can see it. The first 4 screws are kind of, a lot of stresses on those. The middle ones seem to be okay, and then on the end here as well, it's kind of bad. So just be real careful when you pulling this back like this. So, okay, so fourth time a charm. We got a different screw. So we're hoping that this bites enough. Is it biting?
Oh yeah.
Good. Good. So we just, what is that? It's just a drywall screw?
It's a 1-inch long standard drywall screw.
Okay.
And you can see here now the bit is a countersink bit, and that's the underside that matches the underside of that screw. So it went right in nice below flush.
Oh, good.
There's an up close view of the screw in the hole below flush. You can see the next one over is one of the ones that came with it, and it's still below flush too. We forgot to show filling the water in the tank, but we did fill the tank. Our tank's about 35 gallons, and at our water pressure at our house, it took about 5-ish minutes thereabouts.
No, a little under 4.
A little under 4. Okay, my bad. But anyways, it's full and ready to go. Now, before we're done, we already did the antifreeze removal using the city connection, but we're also going to turn the pump on in a sec and just make sure nothing comes through pink when we run it through from the tank using the pump.
Okay, so now we'll turn it on, and everything is working great. Nice coming out. So that's the last step pretty much.
Well, we're done, and I believe we got everything ready to go for our first trip. Of course, look at your own manual and see what's best in your situation for your equipment when you're de-winterizing and winterizing your camper. And we hope you have a great summer season camping.